everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Reaction Therapy Podcast. We are here today to talk about things you've asked us, things that you wanted to know, and just a day in the life of reaction therapy. We're just going to kind of go down a path that leads us who knows where. Nick, you are here with me. Boom. There's both of us. How you doing today?
Good. I'm a little confused why you said day in the life.
I'm not sure why I said that either.
I don't know if that's what we're actually doing today.
Sometimes things just come out, but I think we will talk about the daily life of reaction therapy and what we do, because we have in fact, we ought to do that sometime. We ought to just record us as we go. We're buying merch to get printed. We're dropping it off. We're picking stuff up to put orders out.
Yeah.
We're packaging orders. I say we, but it's really Nick and it's Jill and it's Nick and it's Nick. And we should just a day in the life of sitting down and doing this. And we could how they do the speed it up and just go through a whole day.
Yeah.
That would actually be fun. One episode, we're going to do that.
You got the idea man over there.
I just think about things. Half of them don't work at all.
No.
Anyway, Nick, it's going to be a good day. I want to talk about things that everybody at Reaction Therapy has mentioned, asked about. Let's clean out the drawer, as they say, of stuff that's been accumulating with questions and things. And
I don't think that is possible, because you know what we've realized is every single post, no matter what it says, people always comment their song request or ask us a question. I don't think we'll ever get through everybody's questions.
Yes,
people have a lot.
I think you're right about that. It is a constant. Sorry,
I'll find you grab the table.
I have to grab the table because my wheels are rolling around. But it is a constant. No matter the post, requests come in all the time, and I don't think people understand that putting a request in just randomly like that. I mean, we love requests, but those we don't actually pay attention to because we've funneled it to now Thursday. So just think, if all those requests waited until Thursday, our comment sections of other things would be great, like drastically reduced. And Thursday, we'd have hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah, we still do on Thursdays. But
there are a lot of people.
There's just everybody wants to request, and it makes sense. It makes sense why that would happen. So before we get into y'all's Q&A questions, let's do this. Sorry.
Whoa, intro topic. Our
intro topic is going to be something not related to reaction therapy. It's going to be related to The Weeknd. Did you see, not literally this weekend, but The Weeknd, the artist? Did you see recently on TikTok, it's been big as we're recording this, that The Weeknd had to cancel the show that they were doing in LA because after like 2 or 3 songs, he lost his voice, apparently.
I actually didn't see that, but I heard you say it. So I heard that very story, but I didn't hear the details of what happened. And
it's really kind of hard, but all I saw was a video of it. Is he was like, y'all, we have to cancel the show. I don't know what happened, but after the last song, I lost my voice and I can't give you all the show you want. So we're just going to have to do it a different time. And y'all are all be refunded. Like, he refunded everybody. And
wow.
It was in LA, so it was probably a big show. But so that happened. I don't know what you think about that, but
well, first of all, I think I've got to imagine that happens with singers from time to time where they are worn out, they've been touring a lot, or if they don't have their voice. You know, it's like an athlete, right? If their arm is injured and they can't shoot a basketball or swing a baseball bat, then they take the night off. But when you're an artist, a performer, you have to actually go in and perform to these people. Yeah. And you're it. There's no other way around it. But I saw a really cool thing on top of that. And it was, I don't know when it actually happened, but I saw Luke Combs. I think it's Luke Combs, country singer, I believe, who was in a concert and the same thing happened. I saw it this weekend. And he came out and he said, I did a show last night and I realized today that my voice is not what it's supposed to be. So I'm refunding everybody's ticket here. And they thought he was going to cancel the show, I think. And he said, and we're going to do the show, but I'm going to rely on y'all. So in other words, he was kind of starting songs and then I think having them sing it. But he felt terrible. He broke down and was crying on stage because his whole world is performing. And I can imagine The Weeknd. I feel terrible for him. Yeah. Same as Justin Bieber when he had the face thing.
I wonder how he's doing with that. I haven't heard anything from him. I've not heard anything.
Is he back performing?
I don't think so. I think that's going to be a little bit longer for that to happen. But
What
I don't
did
know, I
you think
just,
about when you heard? Because you don't hear it all the time, but it has to happen.
yeah, it must have been just the Weeknd's pretty big. Like it's a big band and a lot of big songs, and it was in LA. Like it was in, I guess, a bad place to have that happen because there's so many people. But I don't know. Like I feel bad for him just like you do. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that's something that he wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Like I think he wanted to keep going, but he just couldn't, and he knew that he couldn't, and it would be bad
Well,
if
and
he
it's
did.
not easy. Like they can't just say, "Hey, we'll just do it tomorrow," because usually they're on to the next town.
I
And
know.
so I feel for them, but I do wish some of these performers, I notice how they go night after night,
Yeah.
that they would space it out a little bit. But I know they want to get the tour done and get home probably.
I know.
Yeah, that was kind of a wild story. I've
That's a
never been
wild-
at a show like that, but you can imagine, right? As a fan, you go there and you're like the 21 Pilots concert we're going to. We're so pumped up, we're ready. And then you get there and it's like after a song, we're done. And I would be like,
Yeah, imagine those
You're
fans. I
kidding
mean,
me.
the fans of the Weeknd, like, cool, I'm getting refunded, but some people wait years to see a show.
Yeah.
Like, they're
and
like,
drive hours.
yeah, it's like, and then for that show to be canceled, it's like,
Not
what
that
if?
they're mad, but they probably let
But
down.
what if the show's in LA and you're from New York and you fly? I mean, I don't know why you would fly from New York to LA, but what if you did, and
Yeah.
then you went to see that one show and then that happened? Like,
It's
tough.
life. That's why we say you got to live life on life's terms and you got to be able to take it, make lemonade out of lemons.
True. So anyway,
That's what we call wearing our weather on the inside from Stephen Covey way back in the day. He'd always say, if you plan on having a picnic and it rains, do you just quit and it's over, or do you go have a picnic indoors somewhere and still do the picnic?
very wise. Okay, we're gonna do 2 transitions in a row because they're the same thing. So and doing both of those because our topic is a Q&A. So
I love
it's
this.
basically Q&A.
One of these days, okay, what about this as an incorporation? We have people record their question, like video record their question and submit it, and then we show them asking their question on here.
That'd be cool. We would have to make sure people are okay with being
Well, if they
like on camera.
submit a video question, then they would know this is going in for that.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be fun to include people. Another idea.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
How
it's
many
like,
ideas
how
does
many
Tom have in a show?
That should be a question. But yeah, it's a lot of ideas. Anyway, so
sorry
I'm
for you,
actually
Nick, because you
No,
have to
it's
deal with
fine.
that. It's a lot.
I just have to, like take it and put it in the back of my mind. And if it's something that is good, then I'll bring it back and we'll actually do it. I'm actually taking these questions from a trivia. When I ask for trivia questions, I'm actually taking the Q&A questions from the trivia questions because most people, even though it says trivia, they still ask like normal questions. So anyway, let's go into this. First question, what made you become a therapist and help out other people? And did it affect you at first hearing people's stories?
Two good questions there right off the bat. I've said this story before. I mean, long story short, I didn't know what I wanted to do in college, which is why I think people should go to college just to go and not go with a specific idea all the time. Some people know they want to be doctors, lawyers, dentists, whatever. But sometimes it's good just to go to college. I didn't know till 2 years in what I wanted to do. And I still didn't know. Get a psychology degree. Like, what do you do with that? It was not employable. That was not a good thing. Employable meaning I could get a job, but it wasn't able to have a career to do something.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed grad school. And I think what made me realize I wanted to do what I do today are 2 things. Number one, in grad school, I learned how to do therapy with children. And that fascinated me to be able to help children before they become adults heal all wounds and feel good about themselves and get over either trauma or abuse or neglect or just stuff that they had been through in life, even accidental. Car accident it could have been. Through treatment was phenomenal to see them not be burdened by that the rest of their life. And the second thing was a mentor of mine, Mickey, who she mentored me through my young professional career and taught me so much of what I know today about therapy and treatment. That made me thirsty and hungry for more treatment. So it was a mentor of mine and it was an education of mine with Dr. Owe in grad school that taught me play therapy. Those two people and those two situations were the catalyst for me, but I didn't know those till I was already starting, my master's degree and getting into the field. But that was the catalyst when I realized, wow, there is a way to treat people. There's a way to help people that I didn't know. It wasn't about, oh, people like to tell me their problems. I have people that say that all the time. Like, I'm just kind of that person. Everybody likes to tell their problems too. Well, it's one thing to tell problems and have an answer. Like, I'm having trouble getting angry all the time. Well, maybe you could just take deep breathing, or you could just turn a good song on. And therapy is so different than these quick fix like solutions. Therapy is like undoing years of damage many times. So there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into it, but I loved it. I was fascinated with it. And the stories, do I ever get burdened by them? I think it was.
Well, it was like, did it affect you at first? Like hearing people's stories?
Still affects me to this day at times. Like there are many stories I get that are tragic and horrible and sad and really hard to take, that I have to kind of really balance myself with, because if I'm not affected, then I'm not human. So early on, it affected me a lot more. I would go home a lot of nights thinking about my clients all the time. And my mentor, of course, would say, Tom, they're not thinking about you, so you shouldn't really worry about thinking about them. And truthfully, that's the case. Clients would go home, live their lives, and I'm not like a part of their life then. But I would be affected tremendously, especially with the children and the abuse, neglect, and trauma that they'd experienced. Wow. Yeah. Can you imagine? Like,
I mean, I watch you like whenever you come home.
That's true.
And
you've
like,
been
I just see how like worn out and tired you are. And so like, when you think about it, you think about all the people you see in a day. Like I can imagine like how many if you see 8 people in a day, that's 8 different stories that 1, you have to remember, 2, you have to give advice on, and 3, you just have to live with it, knowing all of that the entire time. And your brain's only so big. Like when I was in college, like just learning, and even high school before that, like just I've had like 4, 5, 6 different classes. It's like I had to remember all the stuff for each. I'm like, how does my brain fit it? But when you get into a job like that, when you have to remember all these different stories, I can imagine it could be a lot to handle sometimes.
Yeah, it's a lot. It takes actually a skill to learn how to do good therapy and how to balance. Because if all I do is carry the weight of every client and I carry it into the next session and the next session, then if you're in front of me, you would not be getting the freshest Tom. So I have to balance the number of people I see and balance the weight that I carry from the stories. But a lot of times it's about learning to just be with this person that's right in front of me for this time, this hour. And when I'm with you for that specific time, I put everybody else aside. You feel that I'm not worried about anything else other than that. And that's a real skill. It's hard for a lot of therapists to do. And some days I've had 8 people and it's been a piece of cake. And then another day I've had 4 people and it's been the hardest day ever. So it really is the balance of the type of people that I see and the type of cases that I take in. And so now I kind of pick and choose those, but they're not always easy. Some of them are really, really hard.
That reminds me of like, not to bring up college again, but like different days, because in college you have different classes on different days. And some days it's like, okay, I can deal with this. Like I have these 2 classes, these are decent. But then the next day I could maybe only have 1 class, but it's a terrible class. So I can imagine like your days, like you probably look like the night before, like who am I seeing tomorrow? Like, oh, this is going to be a tough day.
And many times it's not because of the people.
Yeah.
It could be, but it's also because of the case that is really hard and challenging. And a lot of cases in therapy don't get fixed today. That's a great question.
That's a great question. Good one to start out on. Okay, second question. What was the point of becoming a reactor? And what were the basics you wanted to have? And what was the thing that you thought was special about this channel?
Man, you've got this one too. This is both of us.
We could both answer it.
Which part do you want first?
Well, I'm not the reactor, so I can't really answer that.
Well, but you're a part of this channel.
Yeah, well, I'll answer like what was the thing that you thought was special about this channel? Like obviously before we had mental health like as our main focus, I thought the specialty was the like, what's the word for it? Genuinity, is that a word?
Genuine.
Like how genuine we were.
Yes.
Like I don't know if that genuinity is a word or not, but how genuine we were and like answering questions and answering people's and responding to people's comments. And like, I think that at first was like what I thought was special. Like we had a bond of people that from the beginning, like even before we started doing live streams, we still had people that would be consistently watching, and it felt like a family back then. Now it even does even more now.
No kidding.
But then once we got the mental health part, that was our big specialty, is mental health and having a community, especially with the Discord and live streams. Like that's totally like our part, because a lot of people, when you watch live streams from other reactors, not to hate on anybody, but it's not as like a family. Like I don't feel like it's as communal. Like I don't see any other reactors knowing their people by name. Like there's a couple of them probably, but I feel like us, we like know a lot of people by name.
Yeah, and sometimes that's from people being so big. I can imagine with millions of subscribers where it's hard to like follow everybody. But we have tried to keep in touch with, and that's even partly through our Patreon page, right?
That's true.
Where we have specific tiers and levels where I'm a relational person. So I like to know the people that I interact with, and we are more mental health focused. So I think, there are other reactors who are focused on the science behind the lyrics. There are other actors who are focused on the art and the musical element of the music and songs. And there are other artists who are just there to entertain and have a good time and enjoy what they're doing. So everybody has their own purpose, and ours is kind of family oriented. It's weird though you mentioned mental health, because we were mental health from the very beginning, since I was looking at it like, what do these lyrics mean?
I guess
we just hadn't spoken it about. This is our mission. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, I guess I was saying before, we had a specific mission. Like, obviously, you were breaking lyrics down from a mental health perspective, but like, our goal was not to necessarily spread the awareness of mental health.
Well, it's because we didn't know that the channel was going to do anything.
So I guess like it was two different parts. Like the first part was how genuine we were, and now that we have our mental health focus, we combine the two, and it makes it even better. So that's my answer to that
What
question.
I love is I'm able to bring my career, what I do, into this, where I don't have to work hard. I have to work hard at listening to music and trying to understand it, but I don't have to work hard on understanding mental health. And I love that. And Nick has been able to engineer and produce everything, like the order of things, the routine, the schedule, the editing. He's been able to handle producing it and putting it out there. And I've been able to just talk about what I love to do every day. And that combination has been really cool, because I think when I realized we were actually a reaction channel was somewhere in December, probably around Christmas time, probably 2 to 3 weeks after we had started. It was like, so we're somebody who actually is growing day by day, and more people are wanting to see it. And so when I saw that, I thought, wow, this is an opportunity for us to spread a message and to listen to great music. And I'm actually learning about these artists as we listen to it, because I didn't know all of them. And I think when that reactor status hit, it was like, oh, so maybe my purpose can be to really spread two things. Number one, that mental health does matter and it's important to pay attention to. And number two, it's okay and it's cool for old guys to still like young music, right, Nick? Like
young.
That it is somebody like me who's never listened to this can still appreciate it and like it. And I don't just shove it aside and discount it. So we did a good job of that, I think.
Yeah.
I tried to stay open-minded. You were able to engineer the right music at the right time. And we really, the one thing we've tried to do above all is the grind, is to consistently put out content. And we've done that for 9 months now.
Crazy.
Like consistently. We haven't missed anything.
Yeah. This question kind of is similar. Like it's talking about the inspiration, but this part of this question is interesting. Has it changed? Has like becoming a reaction channel and starting reaction therapy, has it changed your mindset in your office, like towards clients at all? I would guess the answer is probably no, because you already like are a mental health professional, but does like doing this channel change your mindset? Maybe it would. I'm just trying to answer the question for you, but towards like teenagers and people who listen to this music, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I run into people all the time now that I can incorporate what I do at reaction therapy in the office. So it hasn't changed my skill base, but it's changed my relational ability with clients. So
Sure.
I can bring music in. I can have them listen to certain types of music because now I have all kinds of music that I can pull from. And I could
Yeah.
say, you might want to listen to this song by this artist because that really relates to what you're talking about.
Mm,
And I
that's a
know
good
what they
point.
are. And when people say, you ever heard of this artist? I now can say, yeah,
Yeah. I
like
know who
that's
that
what's
is.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Like as a younger person, I mean, you've been in touch with all this music before, but
Mhm.
what's it like now that we're in this every single day with these artists? Like,
Well, I listen to it a lot more. I used to only listen to like a few artists. Like I would only listen to like NF's music, or I would listen to Juice WRLD every now and then. But a lot of my listening was to NF or to the radio and like different songs on the radio, or the playlists I made. But now it's like we have the Reaction Therapy official Spotify playlist, and that has everything on it. And now I'm listening to a bigger variety of music. Like I listen to X and Suicide Boys and artists that I never would have normally listened to before. And now I'm listening to all kinds of different artists, and it's giving me a bigger perspective. And like I just put this month, I put a Suicide Boys song on my playlist that I make every month. I would have
yeah,
never done that because Suicide
right.
Boys I'd never even heard of before this channel, honestly. And so for me to put a song, I mean, we did just go to a concert, but still, even without that, like the fact that I'm spreading my like music horizon is pretty cool. That's been really cool for me.
Yeah. What do you think about the people that we're in touch with now compared to people you normally would talk to? Like we're
Yeah,
meeting people from all over, everywhere, all walks
that's
of
been so
life,
cool.
and with all interest. And so we meet people who like music maybe you never would have listened to before, but they're really cool people. And so we've gotten to know people. I feel really blessed, like, and lucky, very fortunate that we've been able to do this and meet so many great
We have,
people. That's
yeah,
the
and
kicker. That's the top best thing ever.
and like we just did fantasy football drafts, and we got to talk to some of our supporters on there, and we get the inner circle people that we've gotten to know. It's just been really cool to see different people and people that we wouldn't talk to normally. Like we have
Mhm.
our bubble, but now we can say we have other people through reaction therapy that are different and better, or not better, but different and like just in their own way. That it's very cool to see instead of being stuck. I mean, I went to a private school all my life, and even the college I went to was a small college. And so like now seeing like other people is
Mhm.
really cool
Yeah,
to me.
that is one of the best benefits to, I know that we sit here and talk like this, but to know people from all over the world and to have a common interest now is
Yeah.
pretty fun. Like it's almost like with our channel, the way it started, a lot of this, a core group has started with us and been along with us this whole time. And so neat to know them. This has been fun.
Yeah. Okay. A couple
Yeah.
more. First one is this is kind of a fun one, I guess. Um, it's from Colleen, which is our good friend
All
Colleen.
right, Colleen.
She asks, "What really makes you irritated about life? Nothing seems to faze you." So that's a funny question. What makes you irritated?
I know Nick would chime in on this that plenty phases me and plenty irritates me all the time. But overall, in general, I've had to learn how to take and just deal with life on life's terms, as I say all the time. But I think was it mostly what's irritating me,
Well, yeah.
what bothers
What
me?
makes you irritated?
I think when I want to get something done that I think should be simple and it's not, that irritates me. So if I'm trying to do a project or I'm trying to get somewhere or I'm trying to create something and it's just not working the way I thought it should. It's kind of like going online, right? And buying tickets somewhere. And if I try to buy the tickets and turns out it's not as simple as I thought, and then I have to log in and I forgot my login. The longer it takes to get something done, the more irritated I get. And then the second thing is, I get irritated when things don't work out the way I wanted to. And I also get irritated when I'm focused on something and something else comes in the way. Jill knows this all the time about me. Like I'm planning on doing something outside and she's like, "Hey, I need help with this computer inside, or I need help with the washing machine, or I need help carrying this. And I'm like, I was just out doing this. So I have to try to learn flexibility and pausing and saying, maybe this doesn't get done today. Maybe I don't actually get to go on that jog that I was wanting to go on. Maybe I do a walk instead with Jill, or maybe I don't get to go to that store I was going to go to because we need to go pick up groceries or do something like that. So flexibility, like I said, 2 keys to a successful marriage is commitment and flexibility in my mind. Those 2 things can get me irritated the most. And I think it's always important to know how you tick and how you work, because it doesn't mean I get irritated all the time when something doesn't work. It just means if I'm gonna, usually it's about impatience. Something's not working right. And Nick knows this very well about me.
Yep.
Or it's going to be about, I was planning on doing this and something got in the way.
Yeah. And that's,
Nick will speak to both of those on me.
well, on you, but also on me, because like, I'm such a guy that like, there's a set schedule, and if something doesn't happen, I have a real problem with it. I think I've mentioned that before, but like if the schedule is like, we go as a family through our schedule on Sunday for the week, and
yeah,
like
how many people do that?
We kind of go through like what's happening, where everybody's going to be. If something happens to where I'm going to be here at this time, and then you call me or my brother calls me and needs something, I'm like, how my schedule's all ruined. Like everything I was going to do, how do I do it? Like, and I get really upset with that. And that's one of my issues. And having this job, as fun as this job is, I don't have like a set schedule for it. And so it's really hard for me. It's like, I need to make a schedule for it, or else what I've been doing recently and trying not to do as much is do things like at all hours. Like I'm really trying to put a schedule on things, and like I need schedule in my life badly. Like if I don't have a schedule, it's not good for me. But then also when the schedule gets something happens, it's not good either. So it's hard, but fun.
Yeah, Nick is a very scheduled person. So if he has these 5 things he needed to do today and something gets in the way, like Tony's truck that he drives to school had to get in the shop. And so Nick has to take him to school and pick him up until we could get this truck fixed.
Yeah.
That can be enough sometimes to throw him off.
Well, and then like I'll just go through more farther into that. He didn't wake up on time, and then I have to wait on him, and then I have to drive him to school. I'm late to go to the gym, and then I'm meeting somebody after the gym, so I have to cut my workout short. It's just all that stuff. It's just, I mean, y'all all know what we're talking about. Y'all all probably have that same.
But some people don't keep any lists. They just go with the flow and figure it out as they go. And then they either are steadily behind or forgetting things. And other people are very much by the book and lists.
Yeah.
Like Nick. And then they get upset because all the list isn't getting done on time, in order, and complete. So that could be really challenging sometimes for both sides of that. People that don't have lists, mostly high school students, they don't understand a planner and the mentality behind a planner and scheduling, which is really critical when you get out of high school. May not be as critical in high school, but it is critical after high school. Likewise, people like Nick have to be able to go with the flow and adjust. We'll have to erase this, put it on a different day, or change that. And I just get very, very irritated when I was expecting something to go one way and it went another.
All right. Last question. This is very fun. This is a very fun one too. You have one food to eat for the rest of your life. What is it?
That's pizza. I mean, that's it. Like, that's the only food the rest of my life, it would be pizza. Number one, because I could eat it literally every day and I would have no trouble with it. I love it. I don't eat it every day, but I could. And if I would think like a burger or something, well, there's a lot of mornings I wouldn't want to wake up and eat a burger.
Yeah.
But pizza, I could literally eat with cheese, pepperoni, the crust. It's kind of got everything there.
Yeah.
I could eat that every day. So rather than and breakfast is my favorite meal, but how do you eat breakfast meal? I could eat a breakfast meal every single day, all day.
Yeah.
But not one item.
For me, it would be interesting because I love pizza too. If I could have like whatever toppings on a pizza, because I could do breakfast pizza, eggs and sausage on a pizza. I could do that. Or I would say like spaghetti and meatballs is my absolute favorite. I could eat that I could eat that all the time. I love it so much. Or the other thing would be like a Taco Bell. They have breakfast crunch wrap with it's just everything on it. And it has, just tortilla, eggs, hash browns, sausage or bacon, whatever you choose. Like it has everything on it. And like, I could eat that all the time. It's not healthy, but I could eat it all the time. So that's what I would say.
I think that I was telling Nick the other day, what we need to do is some kind of a video here on this program where we bring out different kinds of food and blindfold. I guess it'd have to be one of us at a time. Blindfolding, eating fries or burgers or food from different restaurants and see if we can guess what that food is. Would that not be fun? Like just to have.
That's kind of a TikTok trend that's going around like that, or at least there's one TikToker that does tournaments with food. They blindfold and then they have like a French fry tournament or a burger tournament from different fast food restaurants, and they don't know which one they're eating, and they have to just choose based on the taste.
Because I think I could guess where different pizzas are from. Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Little Caesars. I think I could do that. I think I could guess where fries come from.
I think I could too.
And I think I could guess burgers. If you just got a cheeseburger or a hamburger from a place, I think I could guess too.
Yeah.
So maybe what we do is we get not a bunch of stuff on it, just a basic hamburger from like 4 or 5 different places and fries, and see if we can guess where they come from.
Be fun. Let us know if you want to do that.
Do that in a live stream.
All right, I have not yet changed this transition, but here. It's not called the quote of the podcast anymore. It's called
It's not even anything anymore because I've completely dropped the ball. When I see it, I have this trigger of trauma inside of me that's like, I didn't do the assignment I was supposed to do.
It's not an assignment.
I know, but I feel the pressure like that I have to.
You've already said a lot of good ones in this one.
I have?
Yeah.
Oh, but they're from other people most of the time.
Well, that's okay. It's your advice. Just give some advice.
My advice?
Yeah, for anything. It could be anything. Just give your advice.
I'm trying.
It will probably out the camera for us for a second.
I'm freezing on different types of advice at this point. Watch the podcast.
There we go.
Hey, look, I think I've said it before. Coping skills are key. That your coping skills are the best. When you're feeling stressed out, try really hard not to go to your typical coping skills, which are unhealthy. Okay? That's food, that's money spending, that's drinking, that's drugs, that's, just all the unhealthy stuff. If you write down, what do I do that's unhealthy when I'm stressed or worried or anxious or whatever? Okay, like for me, I could eat. And not just eating full meals, it'd be just snacking, getting something. Mm-hmm. But still, that's not healthy. What could I do instead? I could go for a walk. I could listen to music. I could journal, write stuff down. I could call somebody or get in a conversation with somebody so it takes me away from where I'm at. I could go outside instead of staying inside around the food, that kind of thing. It's the same thing whenever any of us have coping skills that are poor. We have to be able to pay attention to them and know I'm going to actively try to avoid those next time. So avoid the unhealthy coping skills. It's really the key. Write down what your unhealthy coping skills are. Anything you do that is not good for you. And you don't even have to be perfect at it, but what can you do? Put that on the other side of the page. What can you do to actually replace that or that's instead of that?
Yeah. Perfect.
It's kind of like when you want food, you could go get some fruit or some celery or just something that gets you by in the moment.
Yeah.
Drink some water. Water is always good because it's a filler also.
Yeah. Or, big on this channel is mental health of like addiction and different like triggers that are not always good. And like in those moments, like just to have an outlet to get away because most addictions and problems that you have, like if you could just get by for that moment that you're either tempted or about to do something you shouldn't, just to get out and do something for that moment, and then you come back and then you'll probably have a different mindset.
Absolutely.
Big one.
Well said, Nick. That's good. It's all about mental health. It's about awareness, and it's about planning instead of waiting and just reacting in the moment, because that's where unhealthy comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I know this is a little shorter episode,
Love
but
these
it's
episodes. I like to just play it by ear. And if it's
I know,
short, it's short. If it's
exactly.
long, it's long.
Exactly. Well, thank you all so much for
Submit
watching.
more questions.
Make sure y'all go and become a member on YouTube or Patreon if you can, because there's an extra episode coming out pretty soon. So
Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Patreon, Discord. All those. We're on everything.
We're on everything. Yeah.
Come see us.
Yeah,
Thank y'all.
definitely. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next
Reaction Therapy Podcast.